Pip was a very small kitten. He had soft, fluffy fur the color of warm ginger and bright green eyes that were wide with wonder. He loved to play and pounce and chase his own tail until he felt dizzy. His most favorite thing in the whole world was snuggling close to his mother. Her purr was a soft, rumbling sound that always made him feel safe and sleepy. Her fur smelled like sunshine and sweet milk, and he would knead her soft tummy with his tiny paws, feeling perfectly happy and content. He didn't think anything could ever be better than this. One sunny afternoon, Pip woke up from a long, lovely nap. He stretched his little legs and yawned a big, wide yawn, showing his tiny pink tongue. But when he looked around, something was wrong. The familiar warmth of his mother was gone. The soft, rumbling purr was silent. He called out for her, a small, questioning mew, but only the gentle rustle of leaves answered him. He was all alone in the big, wide garden, and a small shiver of fear started to prickle his soft fur. The world suddenly felt much, much bigger than it had just a moment ago. A big lump formed in Pip's throat. His mother was nowhere to be seen. He looked under the big rose bush with the pretty pink flowers, a place where they often sat together to watch the buzzy bees. She wasn't there. He peeked behind the old stone bird bath, but only a little brown sparrow was splashing in the water. With every place he checked, the feeling of being lost grew stronger and colder. His whiskers drooped, and his tail, usually so perky and playful, curled tightly around his paws. He felt very small and very, very alone. The sun started to dip lower in the sky, painting the clouds in shades of orange and pink. Soon it would be dark, and the thought made Pip tremble. He missed his mother's warmth more than anything. He missed the way she would lick his head with her rough, loving tongue, cleaning his fur until it shone. He wanted to hear her gentle meow telling him that everything was all right. He took a deep breath, puffed out his tiny chest, and decided he had to be brave. He had to find her no matter what. He would search the entire world if he had to. Pip padded softly across the cool green grass. His little heart was still beating fast, a tiny drum of worry inside his chest. He saw a flash of bright red and stopped. It was Mrs. Ladybug, crawling slowly up a long blade of grass. She had shiny black spots on her back and looked very busy. "Excuse me," Pip squeaked, his voice barely a whisper. "Have you seen my mother? She is big and ginger like me, and she has the kindest green eyes." Mrs. Ladybug paused her climb and looked down at the tiny sad kitten with her beady eyes. Mrs. Ladybug shook her head slowly. "I am sorry, little one. I have been busy looking for aphids on this leaf all day. I've only seen the world from this one blade of grass." She could see the disappointment in Pip's wide eyes. "But do not worry," she added kindly. "Why don't you ask Barnaby the bunny? He hops all over the garden and sees everything. He is usually near the big carrot patch, just past the tall yellow sunflowers. He's very friendly and might be able to help you on your search." Pip thanked the kind ladybug and set off toward the carrot patch. He felt a little bit better. Even though Mrs. Ladybug hadn't seen his mother, she had been nice to him. She had given him a new idea, a new place to look. He walked past the tall, sunny-faced sunflowers, which seemed to nod their heavy heads at him as he went by. The garden was full of so many interesting sights and smells, but all he could think about was finding his mum. He just wanted to be home, snuggled up and safe. Soon, he saw a flash of white fur and two very long ears twitching behind a leafy green top. It was Barnaby the bunny, just as Mrs. Ladybug had said. He was nibbling on a crunchy carrot, his nose wiggling with every bite. Pip approached him cautiously. "Hello," he meowed softly. "I'm looking for my mother. Have you seen her?" Barnaby stopped chewing and looked at Pip with his big, brown, gentle eyes. He saw the kitten's sad face, and his heart filled with sympathy for the lost little creature. He wanted to help him. Barnaby the bunny finished his carrot with a final loud crunch. He hopped closer to Pip and looked at him with a kind expression. "A big ginger cat, you say? I think I did see a cat who looked just like you," he said, twitching his nose thoughtfully. She was heading toward the old oak tree at the edge of the woods. She looked like she was searching for something too. Perhaps she was searching for you. Hope fluttered inside Pip's chest like a trapped butterfly. His mother was looking for him. "The woods seem very big and dark," Pip whispered, his tail drooping a little as he looked toward the tall, shadowy trees. The sun had almost disappeared now, and long, spooky shadows stretched across the grass. Barnaby nodded in understanding. "It can be a bit scary," he agreed. "But Professor Hoot, the wise old owl, lives in that oak tree. He sees everything that happens at night. If anyone knows where your mother is, it will be him. I will take you to the edge of the woods so you do not get lost on the way." True to his word, Barnaby hopped alongside Pip, leading him through the twilight garden. The world was changing as night arrived. Crickets began to chirp their chirpy songs, and the air grew cool and smelled of damp earth. Pip was grateful for the bunny's company. It was much less scary walking with a friend by his side. They soon reached the edge of the woods where a giant oak tree stood, its branches like strong arms reaching for the starry sky. "Here we are," Barnaby whispered. "Just call for him." Pip looked up into the dark branches and called out in his bravest voice, "Professor Hoot, are you there?" A moment later, two enormous round eyes blinked open in the darkness, and a deep, gentle voice echoed down. "Who is calling for me?" A large brown owl glided down to a lower branch, adjusting a pair of imaginary spectacles on his beak. "Ah, a little kitten. You are far from your warm bed. You are looking for your mother, I presume. I saw her just a little while ago. She was worried, calling your name near the farmer's barn." The farmer's barn. Pip's heart did a little flip-flop of joy. That wasn't far at all. He knew the barn. It was the big red building where the hay smelled sweet and the mice sometimes skittered. "Thank you, Professor Hoot. Thank you, Barnaby," he purred, his little body wiggling with excitement. He felt so grateful for his new friends. Without the ladybug, the bunny, and the owl, he would still be lost and alone in the dark garden. They had each pointed him in the right direction, like friendly signposts on his scary journey. Professor Hoot gave a wise nod. "Hoo-hoo! Off you go, little one. Your mother is waiting for you." Barnaby the bunny smiled. "Be safe, Pip," he called as the little kitten turned and started to run as fast as his tiny legs could carry him. He ran past the carrot patch, past the tall sunflowers, and across the wide lawn. He wasn't scared of the shadows anymore. All he could think about was his mother's soft fur and her loving purr. He could almost feel her warm hug already. As he got closer to the big red barn, he heard a familiar sound. It was a worried, questioning meow, and it was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard in his life. "Mother!" Pip cried out, his voice full of relief and love. A beautiful ginger cat who looked just like an older, bigger version of Pip turned around. Her green eyes widened, and then she ran to him. She scooped him up, nuzzling his head and covering his face with licks, purring the whole time. "Oh, Pip, I was so worried. I looked everywhere for you." Pip snuggled deep into his mother's embrace, purring louder than he ever had before. He was safe. He was home. As he drifted off to sleep, tucked securely in his mother's paws, he thought about his adventure. He had been scared and alone, but he had also found new friends who helped him when he needed it most. He knew he would always love his mother more than anything, but he also learned that the world was full of kindness, and that having good friends could make even the scariest journey feel a little less lonely.